and welcome to Estimation and Approximation. Just before we start, just a quick reminder that there is a notes jotter available for this video. Just check the description below for a download link and you can work along with me as we go through the video. Okay, so today's video is all about estimating. Now, the word estimate usually is a bit of a guess, but within maths it's a bit more than that. It has to be a calculated estimate, something that we have done some sort of calculation beforehand in order to make sure our estimate is as good as possible. And what we need to always be thinking of is, can we round to one significant figure? If we round to one significant figure, we've got the easiest version of each number, and then we're going to do some calculations with it. So let's find an estimate for 3.6 times 9.02. Well, in each case, the first thing I need to do is actually round to one significant figure, and that would mean rounding after the first non-zero digit. So we'll be rounding here. So after the 3 is a 6, which means it would round up. So I would have 4. With 9.02, I'd be rounding after the 9. The next digit is a 0, and so it's saying 4 times 9. And now that we've rounded it to one significant figure, well, we just now need to get an answer to that calculation. So 4 times 9 is 36. And therefore, 3.6 times 9.02 is approximately 36. We've used the little wavy equal sign there because that is the sign for approximately. It's not exactly equal to, but it's near enough. So if we do the same for 23.6 divided by 4.72, well, 23.6, if I was rounding that to one significant figure, I'd be rounding after the 2. The next digit is a 3, so that is telling me that I should be doing 20 divided by. And then in 4.72, well, I'm going to round after the 4, and the next digit is a 7, and so the 7 is going to make it round up. It will be 5. And so 23.6 over 4.72 is approximately 20 over 5. And 20 over 5 is 4. And so that calculation is roughly 4. Next, we're going to do 4.02 squared divided by 7.67. So again, first of all, rounding to one significant figure, the first number is going to be 4, and it's going to be 4 squared, and 7.67, well, I would round that after the 7, it will become 8. Now we need to do the calculation of what 4 squared actually is. Well, 4 squared is 16, and it's over 8, and so 16 over 8 is 2, and therefore our calculation here is roughly 2. And finally, we've got the square root of 19.7 plus 34 over 2.1. Well, what we need to do here is we need to round every element of this. So we still want to have our square root sign, but 19.7, if I round that to one significant figure, it's going to be rounding after the 1, so that's going to be 20. 34, that will be rounded after the 3, so that's going to become 30. And 2.1, I'll be rounding after the 2, so that's going to become 2. And if we keep going with this, we just need to work out each of these elements. So 20 plus 30 is 50, and that's still over 2, and it's still the square root. And 50 over 2 is 25, and so I'm looking for the square root of 25, and the square root of 25, well, that is 5. So this question, the answer is approximately 5. Next, we're going to look for approximate solutions to some square roots. Now, the whole point here is each of these values is, none of them are square numbers, and so we can't just find the square roots directly. We need to think about whereabouts those numbers are placed. So the square root of 28, the first thing we need to think about here are which square numbers do we know which are close to 28? Well, on one side, we would have 25, and on the other, we'd have 36. And basically what we've got here is a little number line, 25 to 36. Now, 28 would be closer to 25 than it would 36. We know the square root of 25 is 5. We know the square root of 36 is 6. And therefore, the square root of 28 must be between 5 and 6, but it's going to be closer to 5 than it is 6. So 5.5 will be right in the middle at around 30, so it's going to be just below that. So we're going to make an estimate, and it is approximate, so we can make any value between 5 and 5.5. So the root of 28 is approximately 5.3. For 72, again, we want the square numbers which are close to 72. Well, we have 64 and we have 81 either side of 72. The square root of 64, well, that is 8. The square root of 81 is 9, and therefore the square root of 72 must be in between those two values. Now again, we need to just judge whereabouts 72 would be, and 72 is actually very much just past the centre of 8 and 9, and therefore root of 72 is going to be somewhere near to 8.5, because 72 is very close to the centre of those two numbers, and therefore the square root of 72, we would say it's approximately 8.5. For 41, again, we just want to think about which square numbers are close to 41. Well, we have 36 and we have 49, and we have our number line. Where is 41 in comparison to those two numbers? Well, it's a little bit closer to 36 than it is 49. And in this case, what we're looking for, square root of 36, well, that's 6. Square root of 49 is 7, and therefore the square root of 41 is going to be just between 6 and 7, but it's going to be closer to 6 than 7, possibly around 6.4. And lastly, the root of 10. Which square numbers are close to 10? Well, we have 9 and we have 16. And if we think about our number line, well, the number 10 is much closer to 9 than it is 16. And therefore, when we think about the square roots, the square root of 9 is 3, the square root of 16 is 4, and so the square root of 10 is going to be much closer to 3 than it is 4. And so it would be somewhere like 3.1. And we're going to end with a couple of wordy questions where we need to try to form an approximation or an estimate, and then also think about whether we have underestimated the answer or overestimated the answer. And so it took Usain Bolt an average of 9.96 seconds to run the 100 metres. In a year, he ran the 100 metres 47 times. Work out an estimate for how long in minutes Usain Bolt ran for that year. So this is the first part of the question. We need to make that estimate. So which values do we need to know? Well, we need to know that he ran an average of 9.96 seconds and he did it 47 times. So what am I going to do with those two answers? Well, that's going to be 9.96 seconds multiplied by 47, because that is going to be how we are going to get an estimate for the amount of time. But these values are all a bit too difficult to work with, so as it's an estimate, let's round them to one significant figure. One significant figure, the 9 would round up the 9, and so we're dealing with 10. So what we're saying is Usain Bolt took around 10 seconds to run the 100 metres. And then the 47 races that he ran, well, we'll call that 50. And so what he's done is 500 seconds. And so what it's saying is he was running for about 500 seconds throughout that time. Now, the question was how long he ran in minutes. So we do need to do an extra little bit of calculation here. We need to turn the seconds into minutes, which means we need to divide by 60. And so 500 divided by 60, well, we can take off a 0. We've got 50 divided by 6. And if we half both of those numbers, we have 25 over 3. And so we have 8 and 1/3 minutes. And so actually in those 47 races, he was only running for about 8 minutes in that time. But the question is this an underestimate or an overestimate? So is this number smaller than the smaller than the real answer, or higher than the real answer? Well, it all comes down to what we did at the rounding stage. So here, I rounded up the first number, I rounded up the second number, and so in both cases I used a number larger than the real value. And therefore, because both of those numbers are larger than the real value, this is an overestimate. And so actually the real answer was less than 8 1/3 minutes. So now we have that Veronica wants to buy her football squad new kits. There are 23 players in the squad and each new kit costs £21.50. Work out an estimate for the total cost. So let's have a look at that one. If each of the players of 23 is going to get a new kit costing £21.50, well, again, this is a multiplication. But again, those numbers are not particularly nice to work with, so what we want to do is we want to round them so that we can get an estimate. And if we round them, the 23, well, that is going to become 20. And the 21.5, well, that's going to round after the 2. That's going to become 20 as well. And so 20 times 20 is 400. And so that is suggesting that an estimate for the total cost is going to be £400. Now the second part of the question asks, what can you tell about the actual cost compared to your estimate? Well, we've estimated that the total cost is going to be £400. But again, if we come to the rounding, the first value of 23, we have rounded down to 20. The cost of £21.50, we've rounded down to £20. And so this £400, well, that is definitely an underestimate. And so we can tell it will cost more than £400 because each of the values we actually rounded down. And we're going to end with the exam question. It came from the Edexcel paper in June 2018 and it was on both the foundation and higher paper 1. And it said a cycle race across America is 3,069.25 miles in length. Juan knows his average speed for his previous races is 15.12 miles per hour. For the next race across America, he will cycle for 8 hours per day. Estimate how many days Juan will take to complete the race. Now in this question, the key word here is estimate. So as soon as we see the word estimate, we should be thinking that we might need to round our values, but also we need to understand how we're going to decide how long it would take. Well, we need to know, first of all, how long it would actually take him to do the race in hours. Because if he's going to do 3,069 miles at 15.12 miles per hour, well, we need to work out how many hours it is going to take. And to do that, we would have to do 3069.25 divided by 15.12. But as this is an estimate, let's round each of these values to one significant figure. So we'll round at the 3. We've got 3,000. And the 15.12, same, we'll round that at one significant figure. It'll be 20. And so if we do that division, we can cancel out the zeros. 300 over 2 is 150. And so what it's suggesting is it will take him 150 hours to complete the race. Now he says he will cycle for 8 hours per day. Therefore, in order to work out how many days it's going to take, what we're going to have to take is 150 hours and divide it by 8. Now we could do 150 divided by 8, it wouldn't be too difficult, but again, as it's an estimate, why not make it a little bit easier? Let's go with 150 over 10, rounded here to the nearest 10. And so we could say 15 days. That's a correct answer. It will be a correct estimate. We could also try the 15 divided by 150 divided by 8. So that would be 75 over 4. It would be 37.5 over 2. It would be, let's look, 18.75 days.